the others. They do not need to.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to London Invite 2025, last Open Division round of the day. Chevron action flash from the UK, taking on Brooklyn Blueprint, making the trip across the pond, mostly with a decent complement of Europeans on the roster to fill things out. Chevron in these new blue and black striped jerseys with the chevrons down the sleeves. Starting the game on offense, Blueprint in the white. That one is going to be gobbled up by the Blueprint defense. Chevron just trying to get rolling. Blueprint not giving them time to settle. Elliott trying to get it off the sideline, sitting it into space. A rising throw is going to pop up off the hand of Marshall and cannot be rescued. Chevron with another opportunity. Initiating out of the side. That one is going to be up for grabs in the center. Sweetnam gets eyes and gets hands on it. Bennett with offhand to Hodgett. A couple of cutters want the same space downfield. Bennett tries to burrow underneath, still rising. Hodgett is just going to put some air underneath it towards the end zone and snatched with authority by Sam Criddle for the Chevron hold. This is the last round of Open Division games today at the London Invite. Blueprint went down 11-6 to the Canada U24s in their first game. They played the Goannas, the Australian under-24s. After that, and if I can just navigate my way through. They were on the wrong side of a 12-8 defeat there. So looking for their first win of the pool. Chevron have their place in the semi-finals. Not quite assured as yet. They lost 10-9 to the Canada U24s, but bounced back with a 13-6 win over the Goannas. A victory here would seal their spot in the semis. If Blueprint come out on top, we've got to work out a three-way tie. I say we, the tournament organisers do. That one, though, they don't field it particularly cleanly. Squires has to pick up at the back of the end zone. Frankenberg looking for a slashing figure of Park. Stoppage away from the disc. Discussion, disc back with Frankenberg. Tidswell on the mark. Checks in. That one contested under, but Blueprint make it stick with Rusa. Now they're taking the shot right tight down to that far sideline. Have they got enough room to work with? Not quite in the end. Disc goes Chevy's way. So coming in from the front cone then, the Brits. First pass goes back into their own end zone. Maybe trying to get it off that trap sideline. Chevron just recycling in the backfield at the moment. Hart. A low throw, stays off the turf. Duella. Chevron doing a good job so far of just being patient, being methodical. Tom Martin Hall now airing it out, trying to get a bit of shape on this one. Bigger man gets in position early in the end zone. And Gabe Fernandez knocks it away. Shooting for Ben Wilson. See Gravity and Smog just finishing their Spirit Circle after the end of their game. Good day for Smog, qualifying for the semi-finals. On the back of that upset victory over Yaka this morning. Just a little dish dump into the backfield. Blueprint trying to work their way out of a jam. Rusa to Frankenberg. Trying to toss that one into the center. Shelley. Blueprint past the bidding figure there of Penny. Dropping the under, although there is a collision, and that will stay with Walker Frankenberg. Frankenberg's going to take the shot to the end zone here. Wasn't quite what was required. Overcooked it. Welcome into the booth, Gigi Morrison, having just finished that Smog versus Gravity Spirit Circle.
Hello, hello. What's the story so far?
Time to catch your breath?
Just about, yeah. I'm pretty tired, pretty gassed.
On serve at the moment, Chevron with the 1-0 lead. Both sides looking a little scrappy, I have to say.
Yeah, I'm not too surprised at that. The wind is picking up, so it's making things a bit harder to fight for.
And it just through the center of the pitch to no one in particular.
That's my favorite place to throw.
It's much better when someone also is on the same page and then they get somewhere in particular. Stretching it in the backfield to Douala. Finding the inside space to Penny. Penny again trying to air it out and lay it down the far sideline. Ben Wilson's the target again. This time Wilson is able to get his hands on plastic. And Chevron back up that hold with a break as well and take a 2-0 advantage.
Yeah, nice start. We're already, what is that, 7 minutes, 8 minutes, 9 minutes into the game. So it's only having 2 points on the board. It must have been quite scrappy, but Chevy managing to iron out the kinks, getting them their first break. And this throw, firstly, beautiful shot, but very difficult to read for Wilson, having to look over the shoulder constantly and be aware of that deadly front end zone corner, secure the goal for the end of the game.
You've been out there playing in it. How would you describe the wind conditions, Gigi? Taxing?
It's a thrower's wind, but even the throwers are finding it very, very hard. We, like having a look around at this venue, some of the best throwers in the world are here right now. And to see them struggle, honestly, makes me feel a lot better about myself, personally.
Do you think it's partly that it's slightly inconsistent as well?
Oh, certainly, yeah, because the average wind speed is about 14 miles an hour, which is really pretty straightforward to throw into. But the gust is 35 to 37 miles an hour, and when it comes in, you don't know what angle it's going to come in at, because of the fact that the venue is surrounded by trees, and then there's the clubhouse as well. It creates a weird swirling effect and makes throwing and catching very difficult.
Your eyes do not deceive you. That is indeed Ben Parsons back in a Chevy shirt for the first time in God knows how long.
It's good to see him back. So I'm playing for GB Masters a couple of weekends ago at Wind Farm, and
that's terrifying.
Honestly, didn't look like he'd stopped playing.
No. Yeah, he was famed for that lightning quick speed. Saw it there to get the pressure on the block, but Chevy surrendered it back the other way, and they're connecting on the instant boost. Edelman finds a target that he likes, and McInerney seals the goods.
A very emphatic spike. Hopefully the disc is okay. But a beautiful shot sat in. Just that off the hands of the receiver. Chevy having to respond. No defenders in the end zone, well, deep enough in that space to be able to respond fast enough. And that just sits out. Does have to go to knees to secure it. I don't suppose you know much about this side at all, do you?
Brooklyn blueprint.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, ostensibly Brooklyn. They've got about 40% of the players are, you know, part of that club and have come over. They've recruited a lot internationally.
I was going to say, I recognise a lot of names.
Yes, I think it's partly because when Elite Invite last year, you may remember that Clapham were doing their usual trick of having nearly everyone missing for a wedding. And so they borrowed some bodies to help out. And I think it's a way of repaying the favour.
That makes sense.
Good for them to get some international experience. Nationals qualifier a couple of years ago spiked the third bid out of a regional rival. Being reliably informed, it's Sprout out of Amherst.
Sprout are a pretty solid team.
Yes. And then Sprout didn't even make it out of sectionals the next year.
Rough.
Yep, one of the Canadian teams came down and yoinked it. I think they did make regionals in the end because other teams had to pull out, but it was, yeah, a little bit of a snafu.
The backdoor entry, the people's entry.
Exactly. It's easy to do it as a favourite. It's so much more fun when you take what is not rightfully yours. Please steal responsibly, of course. Kime. In the centre, Graham airing it out once more. Sweetenham can really churn out the yards downfield, using those long strides to his advantage to collect a clean Chevy hold and 3-1.
Oh my word. What a throw. This setup. Sweetenham kind of setting up his cut, moving down the line. Kime across to Graham. And almost a bit of air bounce. Going as that downwind is not a bad option. Particularly if you can get enough spin on it, it's not going to be as affected by any sort of wind gust. But thankfully, no wind intercepting it at all. Really having to step slightly behind himself, arcing through with a long lever, giving Chevy another point on the board.
If you ask me to describe kind of the Chevron system, I think they've got a lot of size downfield, and they are not afraid to air it out and let the Goon squad go to work. It's not a bad strategy. Certainly, they've been there or thereabouts, knocking on the semi-finals of European competition for many years now. One-time European champion, all the way back in 2009? Not sure you were alive at that point.
I was definitely alive, thank you very much. I wasn't playing Frisbee.
Not in a Frisbee sense, no. Neither was I. Edelman. Tidswell trying to get in there in front of Bernard Sazj.
Seems to be accepted pretty readily. Oh yeah, some heavy contact on that left shoulder.
Elliott on the near side. Putting a bit of away shape on it, and too much actually. Looking for Cullen McDowell, but just tracked it to no avail.
And Martin Hall providing the pressure in that back space.
Gigi, I back your sartorial taste. What do you make of this? What do you make of these Chevron jerseys?
Football fans will love them.
I'm
not a football fan.
I think quite appropriately for Chevy, they are very football. It's also weird for a team called Chevron to not maybe utilise the Chevron more heavily.
I don't know, the shoulder detailing has got some chevrons.
It looks like it's made by Hummel. They're not, I'm pretty sure they're made by Zoe, who are the apparel partner of London Invite.
Great plug.
Thank you very much.
Happenstance plug.
I know what I'm about. Parsons past the bidding defender. Bevan airing it out. He's looking for Deck Cartwright downfield. Two players there, doesn't matter. Deck Cartwright with authority.
Authority is the right word. Just a quick flip of the hat back around. Shield the eyes.
He's blinding everyone out there. But that's the risk with the bid. It went, I'm not sure it ever really had a shot at it, but it means that there's no real force on Bevan, and he's got all the time in the world to step into this. He backs Cartwright downfield. Boy, does he answer the call.
And a decent amount of contact going up for the disc, but absolutely no problem whatsoever. trying to see what the kit number is on the defenders, but it doesn't seem to match up with the roster.
Yeah, it looks like Bernard Sazj and Cullen McDowell, I think. Nice little finny at the end there from John Shelley as well. Imagine if we had like a 3-meter line on the sideline that players could remember to stand behind. Imagine.
What a world we would live in, you know?
Bet they don't get this at World Games.
I wouldn't know.
No, me neither.
No. We're not quite up to that standard.
Hey, back yourself.
I don't.
I back you.
Thank you. But this isn't about me.
No. It's about Chevron versus Blueprint. The natives with a 4-1 advantage.
Huge pull. Confident reception of it too.
Yeah, Squires fields in the back of his own end zone, and he's right to as well. If he lets that drop, the Chevy defense gets set ever tighter. Of course, used to seeing Squires suiting in up in the mixed division for deep space. Big deep shot now from Walker Frankenberg. This time it's Blueprint's turn to rule the skies with Klein. Trying to squeeze it down the far sideline again. Frankenberg has been a big engine for Blueprint, and he's trying to get his teammates revved up as well.
Ironically enough, Klein was not Klein at all. Klein being small in German.
Mate,
there you go.
My German is nackt gut.
Naked good, fantastic.
Exactly,
yeah.
You get it.
But yeah, wonderful reception. Again, huge amount of pressure. Concentration through the catch.
Yeah, the sides are not afraid to air it out, and it's making for an exciting spectacle. Dishes it off afterwards, and then they're taking the shot down the sideline to Frankenberg, whose huck opened up that possession for the New Yorkers.
I'm seeing a lot more spiking going on in this game than I have in previous games.
How much Open Division have you been watching?
I've commentated 2 other Open games.
Okay, fair enough.
This is my 3rd today.
Yeah, I feel like the first game I saw today didn't really have that fire necessarily. But both these sides seem like they're up for it here. Blueprint getting their 2nd goal on the board.
That pull bricked.
Going to take the slow stride to the brick mark. Just the lush green grass here at Grasshoppers Rugby Football Club. Penultimate round of the day. Mixed division action still to come afterwards. Taking the inside channel to Tempest. Kime low. The vet Colthammer makes sure he gets underneath it. Now Sweetenham. Hodgett clearing through to unveil Criddle. Kime continuing to motor. Fakes the continue. Cody Elliott-Edwards is a real burner, and he finishes again, driving towards that front Kime for the goal.
Yeah, something you just mentioned there, Kime continues to motor. He is very well known for being a player that will just keep chugging and going and going and going, no matter what. He has graft. And he honestly delivers. There's a solid reason why he's been such a stalwart handler for Chevy for quite a while now.
A decade plus
quite
at this
few
point.
years, yeah. Like, he's obviously a very good thrower, knows how to move his mark around, but he's not somebody who will just stand still in the space. He will get himself clear, or he will clear out, and that's great.
Yeah, he really wants to be active and involved rather than a, more of your turret-style handler who will stand and deliver.
So now collected a few more points on the board since I arrived.
They have, yeah. Obviously, they were just waiting for you to get ready, which is very magnanimous of them.
Yeah, I know, so kind.
Outside in shape on the pool. This time, they'll get it on the roll, not cleanly on the roll. Don't think he ever had control of it. That one, just past the bidding defender. I thought that did get an edge on the ground before he secured it.
That does look secured, but it's very close. We're just going to get another look.
I don't know.
It's really hard to call because it does look like it's in between his fingers, but whether it's still sustained control is really difficult. We've had a couple of players come into the gazebo to be able to get their own perspective. Oh, I don't know. I'm glad I'm not the person to make this call.
I was going to say, it's close enough. I wouldn't hate just contesting it, sending it back and getting on with it, to be honest. I think they say, you know what, fair enough. Let's just do it again. Glasto rules. Maybe not.
The creme de la creme of Frisbee that is Glastonbury.
100%. Chevron coming in a zone this time, not trying to get the Brooklyn offense settle. Nice little slicer to Squires. Fakes the backhand down the line, just trying to manipulate Titwell on the mark. Another slice through. This time laying out his park. Getting on the edge of the red zone now. Frankenberg, we know he's got a wide arsenal. To the end zone, Frankenberg again. Oh, and it's all kicking off now. Maybe not. I think they are wisely walking away. It feels like they took umbrage with the disc being spiked so close and tried to throw it back to Blueprint, and it threw it right in them. Just walk away, lads. Don't need any of that.
Yeah, let's move on. But a lot of pressure underneath every single pass. They've managed to find the inside space really quite well, with a person just driving underneath, quick behind the back reception. Yeah, I feel like that's completely incidental. I hope that was a well-spirited toss, but it doesn't seem like it.
Yeah, you hope it's all being done with a wry smile and a wink and a nod. I don't know whether it was.
Of course, we also don't know what was said in that exchange of words.
It could easily have been sorry about that, and he goes, whoop, we don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, if there was any friction there, everyone quickly walked away. Feels like a deep pull here. Spears waiting at the back of his own end zone where he has to pick it up. Good opportunity maybe to burgle a short field turn. High stall now. Spears going short to Bennett. Colt Hammer activates, gets the swing. Break isn't there on time. Nice switch passed off, but Kime recognizes to take that open under. Elliot Edwards now. Getting some movement and connectivity downfield. Tempest rips it, and he could have done with a bit more finesse on the throw because Colt Hammer could never catch up.
Yeah, fair laser. Again, beautiful option. I think it was the right choice. Some more touch on that backhand, just to maybe sit it slightly further up, slow it down ever so, like just a couple of centimeters to allow Colt Hammer to just run onto it. Maybe he would have had to bid regardless, but that would have been a heroic catch if he did bid in that circumstance.
Yeah, I think if you bid, you're doing it in hope more than expectation. Into the center, rolling grab is made. Now Elliot. And Chevron earn it back here. Turville. Into the backfield for Marshall. And now McInerney just trying to sit this one to the end zone, and it's going, and it's going, and it is gone.
I like the option, the high release.
I also like the option.
Not mad at it.
No,
at
trying to sit it with the wind, but you see, it just picked it up and took it for a merry stroll.
You're trying to throw a high release flick with touch is honestly quite tricky.
Trying to throw a high release flick without touch is tricky, to be honest.
Maybe for you.
Hey. Rude. I mean, I'd throw a thumber in that situation, but everyone seems to think I'm weird. Thumber not included. Chevron getting the disc back, second chance on offense now. Nice find by Kime. Defense adjusts to stop the little dish off back to Kime. Graham looking for Kime. Sticks with it. At midfield, Bennett waiting for some more field stretching ability. Kime into the gutter, Graham. Foul called with contact between Bennett and McInerney. All smiles. Accepted foul.
Yeah, I think Bennett was trying to make a move up the line while McInerney was already standing in that space.
Bennett clears out to give Spears the lead, and Spears puts it too far out in front for Bennett. And if any two players on this roster are comfortable playing with each other, you'd feel like it'd be those two.
The two ex-Smog players on the Chevy side.
Deep strike, the layout is not far away. But it came up short.
McInerney having to go really long, really far, rolling onto the back in exhaustion, I'd imagine. Maybe a bit of frustration.
Had to give it a go. Fair play.
We've had a couple of turnovers now.
Yeah, the scoring in this game had picked up a bit of a pace, but slowed down this point, certainly. Kime, big pump fake. Spears as Elliot Edwards go. Instead, underneath to Bennett. Offhand. A little bit static downfield, waiting for players to activate. So they've got to reset through the handlers for now. Spears uncorks it. The track, or the defender tipped it, and then a hand on it from Tempest wasn't enough.
The release of that backhand, again, it almost looked like an air bounce. It was quite a low release that then just sat up into the air. Tempest had a split-second lapse of concentration, trying to get the second reception.
Then it can only have been the smallest of tippy taps on the disc from Blueprint, but it did enough to get the job done for the D, and Blueprint now opting to utilize a time out to have a chance to get something drawn up off the turn and get a much-needed breather for this third and final game of a lovely sunny day here at London Invite. 5-3 Chevron Action Flash leading Blueprint in the Open Division, London Invite 2025.
What are they, spaceships from Mars? No, they're Frisbees. Watch it soar. It flies way around like a bird. You can even run for a pass. You can play all kinds of games. Isn't it amazing? Frisbee Flying Saucer. Yours at toy, drug, and department stores.
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with ULTI.TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
Brooklyn Blueprint on the move off the timeout. But so far they've only gone laterally to really work their way downfield. That's a nice gainer for them, for Rodriguez. Now that one is going to pop up, potentially a second effort, And it's caught by Edelman. Edelman now airing it out deep towards the back cone. And it didn't sit long enough. And the bid is shy from Turville.
This feels like a game of trades in terms of who can make the most difficult throws to catch, which is honestly like the effort to be able to go full extension layout, even when you know it's probably going to be outside of the pitch, is phenomenal. Something I'd quite like to see is a bit more patience, slowing down the offense, just really taking control, cherishing the disc as much as you can. Obviously, still take some risks, but not all risks should be taken, really.
Keep Ultimate weird 2025. Nice rising grab there by Tempest, who you would feel, if anyone, would be at home in these elements. I believe in nominative determinism, even if you don't, GG. That deep shot fading away from Graham, and this point is dragging on now. Blueprint getting it in at pace. McInerney with the gain into Edelman. Gestures into the backfield. Marshall trying to lead McInerney, who slides and slides into the pivot. Underneath, no room there. What are your reserves on at the moment, lads? Bennett seems spry enough to spring up. Keim under. Now Graham looking for Colthammer. Can Keim find space in the backfield? No. Zipped into the center. Bennett wants to continue the inside backhand and the layout. Again, putting pressure on Spears.
We've seen a bit more patience from that possession. Chevy wanting to take their time. There has been a foul call.
Yeah, Keim trying to get the layout underneath on Edelman. Keim seems frustrated because he feels like he got it cleanly. Players from both sides a little bit gassed.
Unsurprisingly, we've had, I believe it's 12, 13 minutes long this point has been so far.
I'll be honest, I couldn't see much of anything from that replay.
Yeah, it's difficult for us to be able to have full-on perspective. We're not the individuals
on that far side of the camera. I'm not sure how much contact I can see.
There was a stopping point where, I don't know, it felt like, not that time paused, but both of them had some form of contact and almost diverged in differing directions. Whether that was as a result of contact that affected the play or not, I don't actually know. So there's something happening.
Foul contest is the result.
Probably
fair
the
enough.
correct resolution there.
There comes a time when it's like, okay, we've done enough talking. Let's play Frisbee again. Elliott puts his name on the underneath. That's a nice riser. Stuck well by Blueprint. Now Rodriguez centering to Turville. Oh, it rises and eludes Marshall.
Yeah, that 15th player on the pitch, the wind just tipped it.
Undoubted MVP of this point, the wind.
I mean, it's the best defender so far. That's not to discourage anyone's defense here. It has been phenomenal.
And you saw it there. Edelman knew exactly what Keim wanted, trying to feed Spears with that en passant cut. And Edelman denied it. Marshall to McInerney. Blueprint beginning to move now with a little bit more fluidity. A layout again. They're making Marshall get his money's worth. McInerney zips it. Delicate toe tap from Elliott. Can Blueprint bring the hell point to an end? Marshall for Edelman. wearing that concussion band around his head. Into the end zone. Blueprint finally get the break. Took them enough chances. Edelman is out on his feet. And Turville catches the break to win Blueprint back within 1. Both of these sides know that a potential semi-final place is on the line.
Yeah, I'd imagine that both sides are elated from there being a pause, getting to reset. But I think the difference maker in that last possession for Blueprint was the fact that they seemed to subconsciously scale everything back and go just back to the fundamentals. They had one person moving at any one time and everyone else was just standing out of the way. And it allowed for the first option that became available to become really quite straightforward to throw to. It didn't add any extra layers of confusion. It kept everything simple. They were concise, they were patient. And it's worked out in their favor. And I think the fact that there were quite a few turnovers going up and down in various directions, for them to be able to find some elements of composure again towards the end of that point is really phenomenal work.
I'm sure both sides will be glad to get a fresh set of 7 on. Same line, IMO. They've earned it. Try not to get too much air on the pool, lest the wind push it long and out of bounds. That's an unfavourable roll, though. Criddle picks up to Hodgett. Looking for Sweetnam. Sticky dump defense from Frankenberg. The Scuba provides the release valve to Cartwright, now back to Hodgett. Criddle. Bit of air underneath the inside backhand to Sweetnam. Martin Hall playing the small ball in the backfield, just trying to drive the offense downfield. Criddle has to stop, but he's got no mark at the moment, so he can pick his options. A little bounce off Sweetnam, and the Scuba saw the soft spot and that space, and they scoop it before it hits the turf. Goal signalled, clean hold for Chevy.
The double Scuba point.
Love to see it.
The fresh 7 on seems to have made a pretty significant difference here. Chevy willing to just do some quick pop passes between them to reset the stall count. There was the Scuba from Criddle. We saw one earlier on the point from Hodgett, probably at least stall 8, maybe even creepy into stall 9, was able to find that option. Hodgett, a really calm and composed handler for Chevy. He's been with them for quite a while now. He's also my under-24s teammate. A long time ago now.
When would that have been? 2018?
2018, yeah.
Out in Perth?
Yeah. Wow. Good knowledge.
Somehow, I'm good at what I do.
We're also friends, so
that is true. Yeah, I was not out in Perth, but our wonderful ULTI.TV crew was. Did a bang-up job with coverage that week. Where did you finish in the end?
7th. We lost our quarterfinal against Australia on the stream, and it's really sad. I cried a lot.
Sorry to hear that.
It's fine.
You'll get over it.
Yeah.
6-4 Chevron lead. Wilson just flashes off there to prevent downfield movement. Got a poach on the far side. Nice use of the overhead to hit it. But they can't connect downfield. Bevan wants to push the tempo. Unusual not to see Bevan wearing rolled down football socks. Wilson fakes the deep and centres. Gets it back off Rose Price. And that one should have been in the gullet, and he knew it. He just spat it back out.
You're already thinking about his next option, trying to get his hands reset in for the throw, but that caused the slip instead.
Elliott with the swing around Lightman Nimi. Giving him the leading pass down the line. Nice edge, nice shape. Released nice and early. Seals Bevan out of it for the Blueprint score.
You can see the frustration on the Chevy D-line players. could smell another break. But Blueprint coming in with better composure in this end zone space. Some of the Chevy defenders trying to sit off, but this cut up the line, going to that far end zone sideline, just again the release valve, something to open up the space. Defender wasn't quite sitting into the right spot, gave him the wide open score.
One more round of games to come still this evening here at London Invite, but you see the festivities are in full flow already. I must say, a very good crowd here, as you probably would expect with, 5 of the 8 World Games teams, the Tokay SuperTeam here, and some of the UK's best open and women's sides as well, sprinkled with a bit of international flavour. It's good to see people coming out and supporting the event.
Yeah, it's honestly really lovely. Like, we've had a lot of people on our sideline that didn't know who we were as a team and are like interacting with us and other teams as players, and it's honestly, it's been wonderful. You don't usually get people on the sideline watching your game.
And of course, a lot of people watching at home as well. Chevron are rocking and rolling here. They barely stopped, just leading to Spears, who slithers his way past his defender into the end zone for the 7-5 score.
Slithers is a very accurate way to describe that, because there was a streaking defender in Fraser Park that was, again, could feel the fingertips, was almost magnetic towards this. You could see the poach in almost flew through. Spears knew that he had not very long at all to go in for the catch, but managed to go in with confidence, secured it. Now giving Chevron a bit more comfortable of a points buffer now at 7-5.
Yeah, that was very fluid from Chevy.
Chevy 1 point away from taking half. We're also over the halfway time. There aren't any timed halves here.
They are not. And it's just a nominal half time. You do the mirror change of ends as you would, but there's no stoppage.
Is there not?
Not on the schedule.
Oh, we've taken time. In all 3 of our games, we've taken a couple minutes to just reset. Yeah, 2 minute half time.
Oh, 2 minutes. Okay, I take it back.
We didn't mess
2 minutes.
up.
2 minutes is barely a stoppage.
Honestly, it's enough, especially when you have a smaller roster. It can really help when you need that reset chat, when you just want to make sure that you come in with the right energy for the second half. And I'd imagine that if Chevy are able to get that break, Blueprint will want to have that chat in that second half time. Sorry, the halftime time.
I knew what you meant.
Yep.
Squeezing it down the line there to Edelman. Now wide to McDowell, who might continue it here. No. Chevron trying to force Blueprint to utilize the width. Very tight to that sideline. Nearly came a cropper. McInerney with a high take. Trying to quarterback his offense. Edelman tossed down the line. Don't know whether he caught that or that caught him. Either way, Blueprint do make it stick for 7-6.
They're using the elbows to try and secure it, lock it in with the edge of the disc. And the Chevy defense did a phenomenal job at slowing Blueprint down, coming forward with what feels like, it's not really a 4-person cut, but it's almost like 2 in the front, 2 in the back front. It's like a square setup that's quite fluid, and they're able to rotate within themselves. And it's so effective at slowing people down. Even in the downwind direction that Blueprint were moving into, which would be conceivably a bit more comfortable to move in against the zone. But it's honestly, I've seen it be super effective.
Sorry to laugh over you, but just the look on Fisherman's face as he caught that was like, ooh, I got away with that.
Just about.
Chevron with a chance to take us into half. 7-6 they lead, half at 8.
But if Blueprint get the break,
we could get a little Galaxy point, couldn't we?
Point.
I wouldn't hate that. I wouldn't hate that at all.
We've got plenty of action across ULTI.TV that you can watch back from earlier on today, and of course all the action tomorrow, the semis and finals.
Yeah, 45 live streamed games in 2 days. It's
With
not even
only 4
include.
pitches, that's pretty intense.
Not even including Free Frisbee Friday. I'm going to have a well-earned rest after this, I think. Coalhammer unleashes, and I think Tempest tried to adjust, but he knew he was too far underneath it.
Yeah, the holster in reception was the wise choice from Tempest.
So Blueprint will have to work into the teeth of the Chevy defense and the teeth of the wind in order to break us for Galaxy Point. Very static downfield for Blueprint. Frankenberg. It's been a bit of a fire starter for them. Whips it deep. That's a good track by Squires. Sits down on it. Can they jump it into the end zone? Fraser Clark applies the finish. And we are at 7s, and we are going to get ourselves a Galaxy Point here, Gigi.
Sound the alarm. I don't have an alarm.
I was going to say, and I'm not sure if we have that. I think if we play the crew with enough sweets, they'll put a little graphic on screen.
But yeah, what a way for Blueprint to come out. This throw, it looked like Bennett got a cleat to it. Something tips that disc in the wrong direction.
On the D-line, Frankenberg felt he had the license to chance his arm. Proved a wise decision. You're right, he might have just a tiny toe tap.
I heard something through the headphones. I heard something.
We need to get the snickometer activated. See if we can line up the audio.
But even the wind up in for the forehand, it was huge. It was really
There's a lot of
wide
baggage
and
on that one,
long.
yeah.
I'm just trying to give it as much air as possible. But Bennett read it really quite well. If he did get the cleat to it, that is.
There we are, Galaxy Point, GG.
Thank you.
Chevron looking to take half on serve. Been a tough day so far for Blueprint, taking sizable losses to both the Canadian and Australian U24s. Chevy beat the Australians but went down by 1 to Canada. So could get a 3-way tie going here. Feel like the big win for Chevy over the Goannas would see them through regardless if they keep it close here, even if they aren't on the winning side. Air underneath it for Sweetenham. Now Kime. Slides it through there to Sweetenham. Sweetenham airing it out. Oh, the wind has got this one. Not a sniff for Graham.
The outside edge of the disc just caught the wind as it blustered through. Graham with the boost of a sprint, only really slowing down as soon as he got quite close to the sideline.
And he realised that this is not going to be my disc.
Currently some of the other games going on. Another pitch. Well, pitch 1, we got the Canada under-24s versus the Goannas.
Yep.
And then on the pitch across from us, we have what looks to be like a corker of a game in Clapham Ranelagh with none other than Liam Grant and Tyg Bogan Carey, so an all-Ireland commentary team.
I bet that's nice and neutral. Actually, to be fair, I'm not sure who Liam hates more out of Clapham and Ranelagh.
I mean, Tyg has both played for Ranelagh
and
yeah, for Clapham,
so it is neutral. Yeah. The other game, which is not on stream at the moment, Bristol Open are up against Is No Good from Noisy-le-Sec in the suburbs of Paris. Disc back with Chevron then after that overthrow. Can Criddle get a reset off? No, McInerney was all over it.
Well, there is a discussion.
Maybe he was all over Hodgett as well.
Yeah, Hodgett not happy with McInerney's contact coming through, so we just get another look. Yeah, there's quite a fair bit of contact as Hodgett tries to move around the back. Is that the same McInerney that played for Clapham?
It is indeed, yes.
It is indeed. Yeah, so I'd imagine that McInerney has probably played up against a fair few of these.
He will be abundantly familiar with the Chevron outfit, yes. As will a lot of the European additions to the Blueprint roster for this tournament. Bennett stands tall as they swing around. Criddle pops to Kime. Everything being driven from the handler set at the moment. Spring in the step of Bennett, and that is just a drop there from Chevron. Hodgett surrendering. Edelman wants to air it out. He's got a target in the end zone. Can he connect? Oh, he can as well. Colin McDowell on the money. And Blueprint are going to break to take an 8-7 halftime lead. Chevron was sitting pretty, but a 3-point run from Blueprint has given them the advantage going into the half.
Yeah, the momentum has swung from one way to the next. This throw from Edelman.
Lovely.
Just class. Being able to see that McDowell was in that space and just airing it out. That is some elite level throwing, faking the force around to the other side to open up that open side backhand space. Sit it out into the wind perfectly in a very decisive way to take half.
Yeah, will Chevron find a comeback in the second stanza of this game? Stay tuned to find out. Here, London Invite. We'll see you on the other side.
Oh my goodness. That is...
Shopping Zillow and need a trusted resource for your real estate questions? Want to check on loan pre-approval? Reach out to HomeForce, an all-in-one home buying service engineered for ultimate players, fans, and friends. The HomeForce team provides services in real estate, mortgage financing, insurance, and much more. No pressure, no commitment, just trusted advice.
What are they, spaceships from Mars? No, they're Frisbees. Watch it soar. It flies way around like a bird. You can even run for a pass. You can play all kinds of games. Isn't it amazing? Frisbee Flying Saucer. Yours at toy, drug, and department stores.
(8-7). Blueprint with their noses in front going into the second half, receiving as well with a 3-point run to take us into the interval. Benjamin Rees, Juju Morrison, pleasure to have you along with us for London Invite. This one of 45 live stream games over the weekend. Thank you for becoming a YouTube channel member or one of our greatest patrons on Patreon. So you already know what the deal is here. It's good to have you along.
Yeah, and in this game, Blueprint do kind of have the upper hand. They've managed to take half by breaking, and they're starting out on offense. So if they can get a hold here, a 2-point buffer could be quite dangerous for Chevy as they're getting later on into the game.
Especially with the cap rules at the tournament, you've got to keep it close. Park to the bespectacled Shelley in the backfield. Finds the around and feeds Frankenberg. Certainly thought about the deep strike. He's delivered enough already. Frankenberg again. This time going central. Continuing to work it nicely downfield here, Blueprint. Oh, the bobble. He's going to give it back to Chevron. Parsons just getting it moving in the backfield. Got a player trying to stretch it deep in Tidswell. There is a stoppage. Parsons, of course, was part of the GB Open contingent that took gold at EUC in Copenhagen in 2015.
That is some elite level knowledge there, Ben.
I believe his official name at that time was Speedy Ben Parsons. I feel like I heard that a lot on the commentary that week.
Chevy really taking their time in the backspace. They're not too concerned. Like, they've lost a few yards in the backspace and wanting to swing all the way across to none other than Speedy Ben Parsons.
Yeah, has to lose a lot of yardage to regain his balance there. Physical defense from Squires, probably a little bit over physical, in fact. Lovely inside find from Hart to Tidswell. But is being well contained. And you see that Martin Hall evidently wants a bit more drive and dynamism from the backfield. A little bit static as he rises to collect. Trying to bounce on the balls of his feet. Fed from Cartwright. Martin Hall changing angles of attack, getting defenders on the heels. Now Penny comes back to act as the fulcrum. Two Chevy vets there combining. Here's another one in Bevan. Faking the hammer, hides it away, and then a simple pop for the Chevron break, and we're tied at 8.
That's the kind of energy that Chevy needed to come into that second half with. It could have been quite dangerous. Honestly, the pressure needed to come out as a D-line, knowing that if you don't get a break now, it could honestly seal the deal. It's quite intimidating. So for the Chevy D-line to come out with the composure that they did on offense, as I'd mentioned, they were willing to take a few yards further back, taking whatever pass that they need to, opening up the pitch by swinging it all the way wide across to Parsons, and then gradually working it down outside to the end zone to then, again, have the composure, just take it nice and easy. Now we're level at 8-8.
Just over 10 minutes until the cap comes on. Looks like it's going all the way here, Gigi.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be an exciting matchup, and I don't know which way, I don't entirely know which way the momentum's going to swing. I don't know whether it's going to be a case of we'll just trade it out to the end of the game, or whether that could be the turning point for Chevy. They'll be like, right, we're done with this. We had this at the beginning. We had a 4-point buffer. Where's that at now? And take it on with 12 minutes left.
Marshall to pick up for the Brooklyners. Sliding and picking up a little bit of turf is Elliott. Tried to get the leading pass through to the backfield, wasn't there. Hodgett, who's come over to the D-line to help drive the offense after the turn. Well, that won't matter because it's a little bit behind DeWaller and it thunks off his palm. Can Chevy get it again? Player open towards the end zone, trying to get the undercut, but not in time. Blueprint have the goods again. Elliott with the score to make it 9-8 to Blueprint.
Yeah, the bidding scoop up across the sideline. Honestly heroic. Like, they weren't working with very much space at all, as they were just funneling it through, trying to gain whatever they possibly could. And the defense was close. It had two defenders going into that same space at different points, but still enough to put enough pressure for the receiver to maybe doubt their own reception of the disc. And it's great to see that they were able to just keep their eyes locked onto the disc, recognizing the fact that there was pressure, and still go for the bidding scoop.
So Blueprint with the 1-goal advantage. 9-8 on the scoreboard. 10 minutes till I say the hooter, till someone with a microphone tells them time's over. You try to get a little bit of a better view by standing on the chair.
The sun is in my eyes. And honestly, I can see more.
I see. But it is nice to be able to see over any traffic as well. Wide open underneath there is Bennett. Out of the hands quickly to Spears. And just a little bit of loft to Sweetenham. Goal is good. Exactly what Chevy wanted. Get the O-line on the field. Calm little jog down the other end and get them off again.
Some last pass hesitation or reluctance, as there looked to be a pick call that was immediately retracted, maybe recognizing the fact that there wasn't any sort of effect on the play there. But Chevy, so decisive, just moving through that throw from Spears with, again, like a really beautiful amount of spin. Just allowed it to sit into the receiver's hands. Benji, you've joined me on the chairs.
It was the move, actually. It was the move.
It's a great view, minus me having to like squat ever so slightly.
It's fine. If anything happens up there, we've got cameras.
ULTI.TV's own Billy Retham on the stream.
Should he be behind a camera, not in front of it?
Does what he wants.
Is he too big time for us now? Out of that far sideline. Wonder if Blueprint will brick it or whether they will just take it from the side.
What would you do in this circumstance?
It's a bit windy. I would understand probably going back to the brick mark, I think.
I would also take it from the brick mark. It's much safer position.
It would depend on how close they are to the sideline. Because if someone is there, if someone's not there tracking me the whole way, I might pull a fast one. Edelman wants the break to McInerney and has it as well. That one, huge bid from Declan Cartwright. Not the first time we've called his name today. Bevan wants to get it off to Martin Hall. Squeezes it through to Hart. Bevan on the stretch once more. Also, I think those are rolled down football socks. Very comforting. Defenders out of position. And I think he feels there was a little bit of an arm bar from Deck Cartwright to create separation.
I don't know if there's also a call between Edelman and Bevan. Slightly further back. There's two different discussions going on.
Yeah, players just coming to a resolution. Stall 5, I think that might be signalled. Doesn't matter because he immediately is going to bounce it through Seb Hart. Shake and bake to get free, open side under, and then it's going deep. Looking for Tidswell, but getting up nice and early to potentially get the block was Elliott, although again, might be a discussion here on contact. Second look at it.
Ooh, there might have been some hand contact on the swipe through, preventing Tidswell from actually being able to retain possession.
In the power position, Huck's got to go.
Oh, it's really difficult to call. Tidswell did have his fingertips wrapped around the disc, but whether it was fully established control or not.
And it's a question of what is the, what we still can't hear what the discussion actually is, because it might not be contact where he's trying to catch the disc. It might be something in the back potentially. They're contesting it and sending it back as the resolution. So potentially the opportunity to shoot it again here. Chevy seems to have forgotten there's a 3-meter line on this near side. Another stoppage. Pace of this game has ground down somewhat. One's all going to apologise to Noah personally. That time looking for the underswing. Big hand in there from Nick Lightman-Nimi. The gratuitous ground tap from Blueprint, and they threw it right to Tom Martin Hall. I'm not quite sure what happened there. Tidswell airing it out deep. Cartwright's made a number of big plays this game, and even he decided that that was not for him.
Yeah, again, a wise choice.
Got to have some self-preservation, which is not a skill a lot of Ultimate players usually have, let's be real. Another pump fake down the sideline from McDowell. Lightman, Nimi again. Turville. Slightly happy feet with the disc, but gets the throw off, and now, oh, that blade is going to die, but it's going to stay up. That's how grammar works. To get the hands there. And Chevy will be kicking themselves that they had multiple opportunities. But it's Brooklyn again. Blueprint going up 10-9.
It looked like Edelman had almost completely thought that it was going to die off. Had accepted the fact that it was going to go to ground, but the fact that the wind just tipped it up. That dish over the top from Turville across to Edelman. And that's where we see it start to die off. Gives up hope, but no, not quite over yet.
Yeah, Blueprint just continuing to edge ahead of Chevron Action Flash.
We've seen like nice view of a plane there. We actually saw some fighter jets and the red arrows fly over earlier on, and a can't remember the name. Doesn't matter. Some really cool planes flew over.
Okay, I'm sure. They all look the same to me.
It's a great spectacle.
Yeah, we are right next to Heathrow Airport, very much in the flight path, going for the rolling pull out of the sideline, so you imagine Blueprint will get a sideline trap defense going. Squire's nearly got the run through. Did get a little bit piece of Graham's hand. Bennett thought about the jack, but
Again, the wind just wreaking havoc. Too much zip.
I will say Blueprint looks so much more synergized than they did in the first game I commentated on this morning, where clearly they were trying to work out good connections and chemistry, and it wasn't quite all pieced together yet, but the jigsaw seems to be falling into place, to paraphrase Tom York.
And we just heard that time has elapsed, so Chevy really needs to score at this point.
Well, if they don't, it's game over. Keim, again, indicating that he wants some deep motion going. Frankenberg pressuring the underneath on Graham, and Graham feels like maybe there was a little bit too much jostling for his liking.
I'm looking for Graham here. Yeah, again, the pressure on the back shoulder did seem to have a fair bit of contact on it.
For me, when you're shoulder to shoulder like this, the question is always, how have you been playing the rest of the game? Because if that's been going on the whole time and you're calling it now, it feels bad. But I think by the letter of the law, I mean, it's a non-contact sport, so if it, you know, you are doing your rights to call it, but part of Spirit is calling things consistently throughout the course of a game. And
they seem to have been calling things relatively consistently, that we've had a fair few foul calls, which
I mean,
it
has been a relatively slow-paced game. Billy thinks foul. Go on and tell him. At this point, again, discussion slightly protracted. I would imagine it's probably going to be a contest. I've been proven wrong before, though.
Yeah, the time has gone. It's been over 45 seconds, so at this point they have to come to some sort of resolution. So if it is contested, this will go back into the hands of Kaim, which we are seeing now.
Let's get moving again. Sweetnam. Oh, undersold it. That's nice sleight of hand from Bennett. And he doesn't care about the conservation of greatness because he's airing it out to Criddle, and he's right to as well. 10-10, game to 11, whatever you want to call it. This next goal wins, and we've got a universe point.
Oh, that almost swung in a very different direction. Bennett looked away for a split second, and the grass could feel the disc landing on it, but Bennett's got very magnetic hands. He seems to know where it is.
He's got long limbs, which doesn't hurt.
And then being able to get the composure back, shooting it down to the end zone for Criddle. Now level. Will we see some stacked lines for this universe point? We've seen a galaxy point in this game. We've got a universe point in our hands.
Yeah, Blueprint broke to take an 8-7 halftime lead on Galaxy Point, and that's part of the reason why they are receiving on this universe point here. Who we got out there for Chevron?
That is a very good question.
Got Parsons on this near side.
We've got Hodgett, we've got Cartwright, we've got Wilson, we've got Tempest, we've got Parsons, and two that I don't know because I can't see their numbers.
Okay, good line as they charge down this pull here. Inbounds, but well fielded by Blueprint. Edelman. Frankenberg has come over to this universe point line. In the center, Voss makes a catch with a defender on his back. Oh, there was double coverage because there were two players in the area. They covered each other up, got in each other's way, and the disc flows through to nobody.
The energy increase is palpable. The fact that there's a little bit of nervous energy going around, and that seems to have fueled the errant shot. Chevy now with a break opportunity to take the game.
Hodgett to Cartwright. Hat backwards, business mode. Chevron trying to get out of the sideline jam. Hart decides against the upline, bounces it back into the center. They don't pass off the switch early enough. Hart, the cut deep is a little early. Parsons wants the underneath. Instead, they're going to swing once more. Tempest. Chevron having to do it in bits and pieces, but now the jack comes. Looking for Cartwright, the bid was acrobatic, but Cartwright was on the end regardless, and he just pops to Hodgett, and Chevron escape with an 11-10 victory.
Oh my goodness, the energy swings, the pendulum went back and forth and back and forth, and Chevy able to secure the win, put it away, close it off for the day. They must be very happy with themselves. That honestly could have gone so wrong for them.
It was such a tight game. The margins were so fine. You felt like the shot maybe had to come testing the patience, and with all sorts of traffic in front of him, Deck Cartwright delivers once more. It'd been absolute money in this game, and he pops to Hodgett to seal the victory. 11-10 final score then here. Chevron over Blueprint. One more round of games to come on ULTI.TV into the mixed division. USA Super Team, Australia, Canada, and France versus the Blue Bottles, and we look forward to seeing you there. For all of our ULTI.TV crew and Gigi Morrison alongside me, Benji Reese, and we'll see you on the other side.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks.
Merci beaucoup.
ULTI.TV.